Okay, so validation check has been completed. Now that needs to be done, once again, I'm gonna go back over that. A validation check needs to be done once before you start doing your fit testing for each shift or each day. That being said, if you have an 8-hour shift, you could do it at the beginning of the shift, or if you have a 24-hour shift, you have to do it at the beginning of the shift. But it has to be done at the beginning before you start doing your fit test. At the end, the report is going to show whether the validation check was completed or not. And that is what tells you that the data has integrity and it has been completed properly. So we are ready to go into our fit testing process. The way we are going to do that is on the screen, we're going to click on Run Fit Test. Run Fit Test will open up another screen, and you will get to see this once we go over that training. In that screen, we're going to be able to choose what kind of respirator, who the person is, and also if it's an N95 or half face or full face mask. For that process though, we want to make sure that we are prepped to do so for when the employee comes in. First thing we want to do is we want to take the HEPA filter off. We want to take one of those probed respirators that you're going to do fit testing on, and we want to insert it before we put it on the person's face. If you don't insert it before you put it on the person's face, you're going to be pushing onto that person's face very hard, making it very uncomfortable for them. So make sure that you have some probed respirators beforehand. Also, when you are ready to go and you've probed the respirator, your lanyard, you want to clip where it gives enough space to be able to give it some leeway, so when they bend over or turn, it's not pulling on the mask. That's something that really helps your fit testing process. The last thing we want to do, we want to make sure that that humidifier is still working. Hopefully you can see the mist coming over a little bit, but it needs to be 5 to 6 feet away from your instrument. I can't emphasize that enough. You need to make sure that the moisture is not getting into the instrument, because that will cause damage and would have to be repaired if moisture gets inside the instrument. Those lasers are very sensitive, and that can be something that you might encounter. Once we are done with this, we're all set to go. So we're going to go ahead and start doing the fit testing. I'm going to do a fit test on myself right now, just so you see. I do have a beard, which means that I probably will fail. So one thing that you need to make sure is that your employees do not have a beard, that they've shaven and are clean shaven before they do the fit test. Also, you need to make sure that they have not smoked at least 30 minutes prior to that, or eaten as well, because those particles will register on the instrument if they have. At this time, you will also have to show them how to don and doff these respirators. This is a good training process. I am going to give you a tip and a hint. On some respirators, you're going to see there is a triangle, an upside down triangle on the respirator right there. And what you're going to do is, if you make a little bend inside that portion, it preps it for when the person's going to put it on their nose, and it centers it. I don't know how many people have done it before, but if it's off center, it's very hard to get it back centered. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and don this respirator. As you can see, it's seated perfectly. You need to make sure that they have separated the bands on the top and on the bottom around the nape of the neck. You're also going to check where this is on the bottom here, under their neck. You need to make sure that it is smoothed out and it's not folded in or under. Around the nose structure, you want to make sure that they smooth it and push it in to form the nose properly. And make sure that there is no excess hair for you ladies, or if there's anything else that could be impinging upon the respirator seal. You want to let that person wear the respirator for about a minute or two. They even suggest up to 5 minutes, but a minute or two will allow the foam around the nose to be able to start to mold better to their facial structure. And once again, remember, you have installed this lanyard. You're going to clip it around their neck which will allow it to support the hose line, so when they go up, it's not pulling. As you can see here, it's pulling, so I'm going to give it a little bit more space. So when you go up, you don't want it to pull all the way down. You want it to be able to at least be supported. Once you have them set up, you do a final check. You ask if the person's ready. Yes, I'm ready. Then you're going to go in and make sure that you have chosen the proper respirator. This respirator that I'm wearing is the Lighthouse Worldwide Solution, and it is a one-size-fits-all. The protocols that you're going to use is the OSHA Fast FFP for filtering face piece, and it's 2019 is when this ruling came out. You're going to click on that, and then the person, you're going to make sure you've chosen the correct person, where I've chosen myself. Once that's all done, you're ready to go. Click Start Test. On the screen, there's going to be instructions on what to do. On this specific one, it is bending over. Now, I am talking to you, but you should not have the fit testing person, the person being fit tested, talking, because that will give extra reason for it to fail. The next one is reading, and it says, when the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form a rainbow. The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round arch, with its path high above, and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it. Then it's going to tell you head side to side. Once again, you don't want someone going like that. You want them doing nice, methodical, smooth movements. And then the last one is head up and down. Each one of these processes takes about 30 seconds. All right, it'll say it's done. Now, remember, I have a beard. The chances of me passing is very, very slim. However, according to this, I have passed. That is the process of doing a fit test. When they doff it, you need to show them how to doff it properly, meaning that they don't want to touch the outside of it, because whatever exposure they had on here, they don't want to handle. You don't want to just pull it off. So this is a good time to show them how to doff a respirator without getting it on their hands or exposing other processes. Another learning tip, another learning lesson. That's it for that.